Check it. Check it. Check it. Check it.
Good evening, viewers. You are welcome to this week edition of Happening Around the City. On this week edition, we have a consummate public analyst and journalist who is going to comb a topic that is very germane to every Nigerian. And what is the topic today? The topic is about the subsidy removal. I have in the studio Mr. Dele Ayudu. You are welcome, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, many regards the subsidy as a conduit pipe to share the country's hard-earned dollars to some class of people. Should subsidy be removed or should it be sustained?
Subsidy should be removed. Should it be sustained? I'll say yes, it should be removed. I'll say yes, it should be sustained. And as to whether a lot of people regard it as a conduit pipe for stealing our money, I also agree. That's my opinion. We may not have a fact to build it up, but verifiable incidents can show. Or else, why should we continue to do turnaround maintenance for about 40 years and yet we have not turned around? That's very clear to any idiot. Why should we not think of something else? There's this common phrase: if you continue to do the same thing the same way, you get the same result. So if you are getting the same result that is not good or complementary to the effort we made, that means we are doing something wrong. Therefore, I think it's just appropriate for us to do something right. To me, what is that right thing is to stop turning around, to stop maintaining any refinery. What then should we do? I think we should build a new one. This is a world of science and technology. Just like if you remember, which I'm sure many people will do, when we first started the GSM, the handset in Nigeria, some 20 years or thereabouts. Before then, we all should still remember the telephone box, which you cannot carry, it's not mobile. After the telephone box of Nitel, we had the one we call 090 or not 90. I will know as heavy that is, like the military walkie-talkie. Today, subsequently, we have what we call the handset. You can put it anywhere in your body without it being visible. That will do every other work. So that means technology has compressed that kind of. I don't know if anybody listening or you have been to any of these refineries that have been to Kaduna and Wari and Port Harcourt. We don't need that giant thing. And of course, what am I saying? Recent evidence shows from what Dangote has done that it can be done. He built it within 3 years. And as a government, we should be able to build it, my reckoning, within 18 months, 1.5 years. Because we will have removed all those bureaucracies and problems. And of course, we have money down in to do it. If we cannot build it on our own, what's also from inviting foreign companies who have been doing it? That same company where we take the crude oil to refine, why don't we encourage and finance that company to come and build the company here? It will really the cost of taking it from here to wherever it is. I understand we go as far as Russia, Romania, um, we have been told, even Singapore, to get the oils refined. So why don't you ask them? If you want to buy a travel ticket to such areas today, you are spending over ₦1 million, not to talk of a vessel taking there. So we'll be spending about 1,000 of that. We'll save those money. We're talking of hard hand. We're talking of currency, foreign currency, which matters to our economy. So that's my thinking that we should invite them to come and visit. We have oil companies like Aramco, the Saudi Arabia company, even the Russian oil giants can come and have, they will be happy to do so. And of course, they cannot be selling to us at an international figure. So, because these things are doable, And because those that can do it are not doing it, that's why I think it's a conduit pipe. That's why I think it's a means for them to steal those money. Because all those things, those cost things will have disappeared. They can't come and tell us that naira against dollar is high. That's why the cost of bringing it is high because we are no longer bringing anything. They can't tell us they want to maintain the vessel. They can't tell us pirate hijack the vessel and they need money to do this and this. No, they can't do that. And in any event, the way it operates today is that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited is the only company importing crude oil, petroleum products for 200 million Nigerians. Is the only one. And when you say Nigerian National Petroleum Company, it's not the building, it's not the structure there in Abuja. It is the people there. So what they do, the way they do it, the executive directors, whatever they are, the executive directors cannot be more than 200. In actual fact, my finding is that they're about 25. But let's assume they're 200. So how can 200 people import for 200 million? Only 200 people. They are the ones who decide and say, oh, Idris, you smiled at me yesterday, so you'll be the one that will leave the crude oil tomorrow. Larry,
Like job for the
is
boys.
job for the boys. Larry, because you did not greet me yesterday, so I'm not going to give you the oil to import. And if you import just one paper, you are making about $1 billion profit. So that's one of the reasons why they are not letting it go. It's obvious. And when they bring it, because they are the only one, there are just 11 depot owners in the country for 200 million Nigerians. 11 in Apapa and in Jego and then the Port Harcourt. 11, there are no more than 11 companies who warehouse it. This is why. So I think there is a petroleum industry law, the government is not enforcing it. Or else, those of us here, if you have the financial means and capability, you can decide to do a refinery. And a refinery, we can just say it's going to sell. We did not sell, we're not going to sell. So that means we will not be part of those who will be queuing in the petrol stations. We will not be part of those who are bothered whether there is first scarcity or not because we have the world. That's what America does. America just discovered oil in Utah. Utah is an island in the northeast of the United States of America. They just discovered oil. And I'm sure you also know that America also produces oil like Nigeria, but they don't sell out. They don't sell it. So what it means is if the whole world are crying, there is no oil, as there is no petrol as a result of Russia fighting Ukraine or Yemen fighting Saudi Arabia, America will just be laughing.
If you have enough reservoir.
It does not affect them. So that's what that would mean. Because those of us here for our consumption, we have it. So if they like, let
Heavens fall.
heavens fall. It does not affect us. So we cannot decide, okay, we'll throw it open. Our neighbor come, we have to come and buy. You understand that? That will reduce the stress at petrol stations. It will reduce the cost of selling it. That, to my understanding, means we can buy fuel for as low as 80, 60 naira per liter. Because we have removed all this problem that, because what is the price cost or the cost price of any product is the total collation of what it costs you to produce it. So you add it to the cost of what you sell. So that's where the problem is.
Thank you, viewers. Just a moment, we'll be back.
síbi tó dá o 1314 o global concept o wọ́n bá ní wálẹ̀ o wọ́n bá ní kanlẹ̀ o wọ́n bá ní ralẹ̀ o wọ́n bá ní talẹ̀ o 1314 o global concept o àwa nìyẹn.
1314 Global Concept à ń báni kọ́lé à ń báni wálẹ̀ síbi tó dáa a tún báni mójútólé ẹ̀lú 070 62 30 5500 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 070 62 30 5500 tàbí 070 15 85 1921 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 070 15 85 1921 1314 Global Concept àwọn ní bàbá.
Welcome back to the program happening around the city. We are still having in the studio our special guest, Mr. Dele Ayudo. Thank you for being with us. And the second question now is, why can't we have a working a working refinery if an individual like Dangote can build a refinery?
Well, I think I've answered that. It's part of the process because people are the most feeding on it and they don't want any other person to feed on it. I've just given the example of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, which is the sole importer. They are the only one today importing. They say we use 40 million liter daily. So they are the only one importing 40 million liter daily and distribute. That is odd. That is awkward. That is ludicrous to say the least. Um, it's unbusinesslike. It's unintelligent. So, but for those who are in it, that's very smart. That's smart. That's intelligent. That's business wise. But they know how much. I just told you. If you forget, I'm sure you remember the first subsidy probe of 2011 by the first driver, where in 1 month you make $1 billion. There's no other business that can be as profitable and good as that. No risk involved. So people like that won't let us have a refinery. They won't let, but that takes us to the subsidy regime itself, whether it should stay the first quarter or not. And that's why I said, yeah, for the reason I've given before, um, it should go. Because it's only it should go. Subsidy should go. It's only benefiting some people. And I'm sure you also remember that we've been told severally, at least let's just count 2011 when the first major crisis started, that the money to be saved, they say partial removal, the money to be saved will go on so thing, will go on so that. Point to that thing that the money saved has gone to. You say complain about electricity is not working. Majority of Nigerians do not have pipable water. A lot of us struggle to own our homes. We struggle to give ourselves health care in hospitals. So that means all those stories are not there. They are just move, eating and drying up our meat. Now, if that is so, then we should stop some individuals or group of people from benefiting rather than 200 million Nigerians benefit. So how does 200 million Nigerians benefit? That's by removing subsidy. But there's an addendum to that. You cannot just at a brisk say you want to remove subsidy without laying a background. I don't want to use the word palliative. No. Palliative is a short-term medium process to solve an issue. There will be a concrete, permanent solution or alternative. Yorùbá ní tó bá fẹ́ gbàkàrà lọ́wọ́ ọmọdé, wàá fi nǹkan kan mú un sí. So that's what they show. And while you are doing that, it's not just àkàrà là ń gbà lọ́wọ́ ọmọdé. We are giving that ọmọdé nǹkan tó máa jẹ fún ju ìgbà yẹn nìkan lọ. What does that mean? I've talked about having a refinery work. That's the first step. That's the first step. Let's have a refinery work. If our refinery work, I've talked about the advantage. We will not be talking about fuel in dollar again. We'll be talking about naira. So we'll not be comparing, we'll not be saying the cost naira against dollar today, it was okay. And therefore, the price of fuel was okay. No, that won't happen again. But that will also do that, we'll have sufficient. And the simple economic theory is that when there is surplus, there can be scarcity. And when there is scarcity, there can be inflation. The price cannot be high. So we have solved that. Two is ensuring that we have few people, 40 million liters, they say, per day is huge. So let's reduce that usage, the consumption of 40 million per day, to about 20 million, half of it. We can do it. Because evidence and statistics are also showing that majority of those who consume that 40 liters are not consuming it with a car. Many of us consume it for electricity, to provide ourselves electricity, or that domestically, which we can avoid. So give us electricity. If you have electricity, we won't have to. For instance, in my home, is once in 5 days. And that 5 days we are probably likely to have it for 6 hours, not concurrently. You understand? So, but once we are sure that I won't have to buy fuel, it reduces the number of consumption. And that's for sure. Once we have less people fighting for it, the value of it will be less. because we have electricity to replace it. Two, those who are using it genuinely are using it for transportation, commercial or private transportation. Give us alternatives to car transportation. Make our transport system work. What am I saying? There's nothing wrong in a state like Ogun, for instance, have 3-link railway system. The government of Bikila almost wanted to do it, but for political reasons, it couldn't. For instance, we have a train that runs straight from Obada to Oshiele, and it will stop at major points: Itaushi, Lafenwa, Itoku, Chapan, Adaton, somewhere in Novantoko, Camp, before it gets to. So you just have a short ride if you have to use the car. Most times you don't need to use the car. You understand that? And we have another one that will run a linkage straight, say from that Lafenwa that runs across the straight line. Lafenwa, Totoro, Okemoso, Okelewo, straight to Kobakwe. Once we have that, you have linked the city. So that means people will have less reason for going by transport. People will have less reason is a common saying. Wọ́n lẹ́rù tí railway bá kó ẹgbẹ̀rún trailer ò lè kó ní. So that's what it solves. So the number of movements the rail transport has done, it has reduced the need for car vehicle buses to be on the road. So there is a reduction in the number or the quest for those who wants to use fuel. So these are things that should be put in place before subsidy is removed.
Okay, thank you very much for the analysis, sir. Our viewers, you've heard from the horse's mouth, from those who knows.
Am I a horse?
You are not, sir, but you are a good analyst who knows what is happening around the city. It's on that note I will call it a day. Meet us next week for another edition of Happening Around the City. I remain Kunle Olakunle.